My beautiful people, what's good? Yo, we have an update here, yo. We have an update here in the Arc Raiders Discord, and I wanted to go through this with you all. Now, I haven't really looked at this in any capacity. I just got the Discord notification. I ran home and I hit record. So here we are, all right? So this is from Embark Ocean? Ocean? I'm probably mispronouncing that. If so, I apologize. It says, Raiders, today we're doing a deep dive into Arc Raiders progression wipes, the Expedition Project. I guess that's what they're calling it. So this isn't called a wipe, it's called an Expedition Project, I believe. We're going to find out why we do not intend to have mandatory progression wipes in Arc Raiders and how our team has approached the topic, what the Expedition Project is and how it works, how and when each Raider will be able to access and complete projects and reset their progression through expeditions. Interesting. What happens when a Raider's project is not completed at the end of each 8-week cycle? So is this like seasons? I don't know. What you keep and what you lose when you complete an expedition, and what will change for you afterwards, why completing expeditions is worth it, and more details about the philosophy behind developing the reset mechanics in Arc Raiders. Read the full blog from the design director, Virgil, here, and they gave us the link. So let's click on this link and let's do a deeper dive. All right, here we go, the Expedition Project. Hello all, I'm Virgil, the design director for Arc Raiders. I'd like to spend a bit of time talking about a topic that is important to many players familiar with games like Arc. This being the subject of progression wipes, or as we refer to it, the Expedition Project. Okay, cool. Previously, the question of how we will handle resets or wipes has come up. Yes, it has came up quite a bit. Until now, the answer has been that currently we do not intend to do mandatory wipes. Yep, we know. These words were chosen carefully as we don't intend to have mandatory wipes. However, as some have guessed, we do have a voluntary reset mechanic. So maybe this is like, and I'm sure I'll find out if I keep reading, but maybe this is like a prestige system, you know? Just to make it clear, we absolutely see the benefits of a global wipe, or excuse me, I gotta stop reading so fast. We absolutely see the benefits a global wipe provides. There we go. Veteran players can experience the game fresh, the economy is reset to the baseline, and all players have about the same level of capabilities, at least for a little while. However, one thing a mandatory wipe does not do is respect the investment of those players who do not have as much time to play overall. So, as we have done with several other mechanics, before mimicking other established mechanics, we like to try our own method. I respect that. Ideally, to the end that best suits Arc Raiders and a large majority of its players. So, okay, we got a nice little concept art right here. This looks like a big battery thing. Cool. Expedition Project. Boom. Which brings us to the Expedition Project. Of course, Virgil's finishing a thought here. The tunnel networks connected to Speranza. Let me actually rephrase that. Speranza? No, it is Speranza. Okay, cool. Is it Speranza? I don't know. Whatever. I'm gonna just say Speranza for the sake of this video. The tunnel networks connected to Speranza are vast but largely unexplored or inaccessible. Most survivors stay within their settlements, but like the Raiders who dare venture topside, there are those who dare venture even farther. Once the Rust Belt has given all it can offer, some Raiders choose to set out beyond the borders of what they know. As of now, this has always been a one-way trip. Hey, they go, they don't come back. All right, cool. In the full game, players will have access to a feature called Projects. At level 20, the first major project players will have access to is the Expedition Project. Upon completion, this project makes a character reset available. So this is like prestiging, okay. If a player completes a reset, they will be able to do so again so long as they complete another one of these projects. So we have a little timeline graphic right here. It looks like the first project, yes, it is unlocked on launch October 30th, and it runs through December 14th. Cool. And then we also have here December 15th through the 20th. This is in red right here, and then December 21st. So, down below it, reach level 20 to unlock Expedition Project. So the first Expedition Project is Caravan Construction and Supply Phases available. What? So we're doing the Caravan Construction, and then, okay. Gosh, this is why comprehension matters. Caravan Construction and Supply, right? That's the name of this first Expedition Project. And it says the phases of that project will be available, okay? Yes, comprehension matters, people, or comprehension matters, okay? Finalization phase opens, and it's just going to be this 5 or 6 day period. And then the completed caravans depart on December 21st. This is super cool. Okay, so like we're doing something active. All right, cool. Let me keep reading. The expedition project will operate on a repeating cycle of roughly 8 weeks. During the course of these 8 weeks, players can contribute toward and make progress on their expedition project, which will overall be a somewhat large time investment. At the start of the 8th week, the ability to finalize the project will become available, hence December 15th through the 20th. And it will remain available for that entire week. If a player has fulfilled all of the necessary stages of the project, they will be able to commit to completing the expedition during this period. Should a player's project not be ready during the window to complete the expedition project, their progress will be kept, allowing them to continue working on the project until the next finalization window. Okay, so there's going to be a little bit of FOMO here. If you miss this window, so this first window, December 15th through the 20th, right? So this, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So this 6-day window right here, if you miss this window, you have to wait another 8 weeks to be able to complete that expedition project in particular. Okay, cool. Other projects may be added over time as part of updates, holidays, and other events. These will range in scale and reward structure. Okay, so this sounds like these expedition projects sound like they are going to be like a big part of what I would assume like would be like the end game or the gameplay, not even the gameplay loop, but like the replayability of Arc Raiders. Okay, oh, we got a little video here. Cool, we got a little video here. Let me actually put on my headset so I can listen. Oh, there's no audio. Okay, don't need to put on my headset. So let me just press play. So they go to the project right here. I'm actually gonna pause this for a hot second. So if you can't see, let me actually take my webcam off. So you'll see it says window closes in 5 days, 20 hours, and 17 minutes. So this, I would assume, is that finalization period, that like week that we would be able to submit our project. So we see for the found data phase, it's 1 of 6. So there's gonna be 6 steps for this expedition project right here. So we see step 1 of 6 takes 50 metal parts, 50 rubber, 50 plastic, and then 3 steel springs. I would assume, and I could be wrong, but I would assume that maybe as you progress in steps, the items that you not apply, but that you commit, or the resources that you commit to this project probably become more and more rare. And this is actually super cool because this gives us another reason to just, or this gives us another thing to spend resources on, I should say. So I like that. That's cool. So I press play again. So yeah, they're just highlighting everything, the plastic parts, the springs. You commit the resources to it. Oh, I think we're getting ready to see the next step. Okay, so the next step is core systems. Cool. So I was spot on. So you move up to the next step there, and maybe the resources aren't more rare. Well, actually they are more rare because I'm looking, the wires, batteries, and the arc alloys are considered uncommon, and the cooling fans are considered rare. So I would assume the materials become more and more rare. Maybe they don't, I'm not sure. Maybe it just is specific to like what you're acquiring, right? So like the first thing we were acquiring, let me actually bring this back a little bit. Okay, it doesn't want to rewind. But the core systems, right, has to do with wiring, ventilation, all that good stuff. So it makes sense to get wired, battery, arc alloy, and cooling fans, right? That totally makes sense. Whereas for step 1, go to project, you're trying to build the base structure in the frame of the caravan. So to acquire the parts, it makes sense. Is pretty much what I'm getting at. It makes total sense. So cool. I like. So all of our resources that we acquire are going to be for more than just crafting. Cool. So let's keep reading here. What is kept, what is lost? So what do you keep through an expedition versus what is lost? Players will lose anything inherent to their character's progress. So levels, skills, items, inventory, workshop, crafting capabilities, etc. Okay, so this is Arc Raiders' version of prestiging in some capacity. So everything that you work so hard to upgrade, all of that is literally wiped. So you got to build from the ground up. Cool. Players will keep cosmetics earned or purchased. I would hope you keep your purchased cosmetics, but earned. I like. This tells me that either through the mission structures, through the mastery systems, whatever, we're going to be able to earn cosmetics, skins, etc. Cool. So we get to keep the cosmetics, the awards, achievements, rankings, etc. Essentially anything rooted solely in the metagame or involving real money will be preserved. I love it. For convenience, after completing an expedition, players... Wait, what? Let me just restart that sentence. For convenience, after completing an expedition, players will be able to skip the majority of the onboarding and tutorial steps they went through as a new player. This being things like unlocking certain features, maps, etc. as they play through the early game. These will just be available from the start of a fresh reset. Interesting. So I wonder, gosh, I can't talk today, bear with me. I wonder if like your missions reset. So like, let's say you completed all the missions, but you went ahead and you went through the expedition project. Like, does that start you from mission number 1 again, except you don't have to go through all the basic tutorial stuff? Maybe they'll explain that. I'm not sure. Now, aside from players who like the thrill of starting fresh, why would you willingly give up all your hard-earned progress? Incentives. Okay, now we're talking. Talk to me here. Talk to me. Benefits and incentives. We're still finalizing the exact benefits and rewards, but they'll generally follow along these lines. Permanent account unlocks for each completed expedition. Okay, I mean, if it's something cosmetic, I'm gonna flex it. Unique cosmetic rewards. Maybe I should have kept reading. For each completed expedition. That's lit. Account buffs that are applied for the duration of the following expedition cycle, and sequential completions of the expedition project increase the magnitude of these buffs up to a limit. Lit. Okay, cool. One point to drive home is that we're being very careful about the nature of these benefits. Completing a reset should never give a player a power or combat advantage over anyone who has not completed a reset. I agree completely. Initially, these benefits will center around cosmetics and bragging rights, quality of life, and smoothing out some aspects of progression for those who have gone through a reset. And again, I'm all about that, right? Give me a badge or like an embroidery to like flex, right? Give me something that, so when I run into raiders in the wild, give me a little, I don't know, a glow or something. So when people see me, they like, yo, that dude means business. He's been through 2 expedition projects. I'ma stay away from that dude. They jump on Proc Chat like, hey bro, you're a grinder. I don't want no smoke. And I'm like, bet, I'll see you later. And we go our separate ways, right? I don't know, something like that. I think that'd be cool. Anyways, let me get back on track here. What comes next? While any and all of this is subject to change between now, launch, and post-launch, that is about the shape of it right now. We hope that by making the reset mechanic voluntary and properly incentivized, we can observe 2 results. 1, players who are highly engaged can experience the game fresh on a regular cadence while accruing some benefits. And 2, players who have less time to dedicate to the game don't have their progress reset outside of their control. They are always able to keep it moving forward and at their own pace if they so choose. It's not a silver bullet and won't achieve the clean break that a mandatory global reset does, but it does aim to be more equitable to all players. Wherever possible, we want to value your time spent in the game as much as you do. Of course, this is a complex topic, so we'll be keeping an eye on the discussion around this message and follow up as necessary. Thank you all for your interest. Thank you all for your interest in and passion for Arc Raiders. I look forward to seeing you topside. Signed, Virgil. Okay. So there we have it. We have our own prestige system that's voluntary called the Expedition Project. I love it. Now I'm really interested to see like what the data is going to show us, right? I'm looking forward to seeing how many people actually opt into these expedition projects, how many people actually go through these fresh resets and, really looking at like, are the incentives worth it, right? Because after a while, cosmetics, again, they're great, they're awesome, and they're fun to flex. But after so long, like that, like fresh coat of paint kind of wears off. So I'm really interested to see what incentives they can bring long term, and that's something that that bridge they'll cross down the road, I believe. I think to start though, to be able to have a cosmetic incentive, like if it's only cosmetic incentives to start, I would say that's going to be good enough for the majority of us, right? But 2, 3, 4 years in the Arc Raiders is going to be like, all right bro, we need a little bit more. We're going to get account buffs. Is it going to be more than XP buffs, right? Like, is this going to be like a streamer loot buff where we open, a certain container, or we open containers and we have more accessibility to rare items. Who knows? I have no idea what they're going to do. That may create a little bit of an imbalance, but it might not. I have no idea. We're going to have to just wait and see. It sounds like Embark doesn't fully know just yet, but they're trending towards the right way. And I'm confident that when that time comes around, they're going to have a game plan and they're going to have some structure there. So with that all being said, I'm giving the mic to you all. I am shutting up. I'm curious what you all think about this. Let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you are subscribed so that you can stay looped in with everything Arc Raiders, news, updates, discussions, gameplays, guides, you name it. You in the right spot. I love you all. Thank you all so much for coming and watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Until then, we signing out.